The MCU is done. Yeah, no, I could literally just end it off right there. But I'm going to elaborate a bit more because I actually want to rant about this, and I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. But yeah, no, it's done. After Secret Wars, we're done. We're caboozled. We are like we're waving goodbye. We're saying sayonara, and then they're going to reboot the entire thing, and then recast Iron Man, Captain America. They might keep around Chris Hemsworth because Chris Hemsworth just signed a brand new contract, and they might save a few people, but like. Brother, they're recasting T'Challa 100%. Like, I think it is Damson Idris. I really do believe, like, that's the person that they're going to do. And, like, you're hearing me saying this, and you're being like, wow, how could you say that? Brother, Kevin Feige literally said Marvel plans to recast the X-Men and eventually Tony Stark after Avengers Secret Wars. But, and I quote, reboot is a scary word, says Kevin Feige. You know, the direct, basically IRL Nick Fury over the MCU right now? Yes. That legitimately is just this. Maybe it's a headline problem. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Yeah, no. We're gonna get into that really quick. But this is something that I've been saying for years, brother. I'm at the current trajectory that we are going with Marvel. It was literally an inevitability when these movies weren't pulling in $1 billion every single time. Disney was eventually gonna be like, yeah, brother. Yeah, we got to reset this. This is no longer working. And I do mean $1 billion because you'll have movies like the Thunderbolts, which made around like $500 million. That is seen as a failure. I'm not that movie is now seen as a failure. Like Fantastic Four, First Steps crossed a little bit over $500 million, and we're over here, us plebeians are like, yep. That movie 100% is success. Brother, that movie was so underwhelming to Marvel. They made Pedro Pascal's Mr. Fantastic no longer the lead character in the MCU. And that's going to lead into another rant that I have, but I kind of just want to go through this before we get into like the wider issue. Let me see. In future films, however, X-Men characters who appeared in previous films will be played by their new actors, along with mutants making their big screen debuts. The decision echoes change in composition of the Marvel Comics following the 2015 Secret Wars storyline, which involved multiple timelines collapsing and reconverging, mixing up the characters of the main Marvel timeline in the process. And I quote, we're utilizing that story not just to round out the stories that we've been telling post-Endgame, but just as importantly, you can look at the Secret Wars comics for what that takes you. It's very, very much sets up for the future, Feige said. Endgame literally was about endings. Secret Wars is new beginnings. Yes, brother, they are literally planning on rebooting the thing, and you're going to be like, well, they're not using the word reboot. Let's go again. Reboot is a scary word, he said. Reboot can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Reset, singular timeline. We're thinking along those lines. Okay. We're not going to use the word reboot because that's going to discourage people from consuming Marvel media, and Disney might actually put a hit out on me. So I'm going to use the term reset, singular timeline. That sounds like a reboot. That's all I'm saying here. And ultimately, people are like either confused or happy. And this is really what it comes down to, okay? There is the level of hype going into the next Avengers movie is down here. I remember getting ready to go, like leaving school early to go watch Infinity War for the first time. That was literally peak childhood that we got to live through. I was watching Marvel movies since The Incredible Hulk all the way up to now. And I can tell you the only thing that is really lacking in these Marvel movies, it's not the acting, none of y'all really cared. All these movies are basically the same outside of a few. That doesn't really matter. There is no grander storyline that we are building. There is no Thanos-level threat. Oh, well, Dr. Doom. Brother, before it was Dr. Doom, it was Kang the Conqueror, and he got iced in Ant-Man Quantumania. I'm sorry, it no longer matters. Like, I want you to think about this. Back in the day when they were first building out these MCU movies, they were building them for a grander storyline that they were trying to tell. They didn't know that they were going to get that far. They didn't even know an Endgame type of cinematic event was even possible. Brother, I remember when the first Avengers movie was literally groundbreaking for cinema. And they just kept on doing it. There was no expectation that they had to match. And now that Disney saw how much money that they were raking in with Endgame, I guarantee you this is where I think Marvel started its collapse. The moment Disney realized how much money Endgame made, and they went to them being like, "Hey, instead of it taking more than a decade, how about can we do the next the next Endgame in the next 5 years?" And brother, we're over 5 years away, and we're going into the next Avengers movie, which is being described as like Infinity War to Secret Wars' Endgame. That is the Endgame level event, and there is not enough hype to sell that. And a lot of that is, these movies are made for profit's sake. And I know I'm going to sound like some artsy dude that I'm saying that, but this is what I mean. If there's ever a character that's meant to be a central point of the MCU, like a leader character, here the best example is Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror was literally being hyped as the next Thanos. The next Avengers movie was going to be called Avengers Kang Dynasty, and it's now being called Avengers Doomsday. Because they didn't want to work with Jonathan Majors after his controversy, because they thought it would hurt the profits. And then another one that not enough people bring up, dog, Captain Marvel was supposed to be the Captain America and Iron Man of this phase of the MCU. And the Marvels failed so badly that they literally looked at that and were like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. People do not F with Carol Danvers. And that's the truth. I'm sorry, but if you're going to commit to that story and you're laying the groundwork for that story, and the moment that the profits aren't looking good for that, you pull away. All I'm saying is, why would I get hyped for any new character? Sam Wilson's Captain America. The new Captain America movie underperformed, and now they're being like, hey, yo, the Thunderbolts are the new Avengers. Brother, the Thunderbolts was not meant to do that. There's no way that you can convince me that when they first wrote that movie, that is what they thought there. They went from Sam Wilson being the new Chris Evans, the new Captain America, to, hey, yo, Bucky Barnes is our guy. Like, no, Bucky Barnes takes up the Captain America role without the mantle, and Sam Wilson's Captain America is being played for a joke. We're going into Avengers Doomsday, and they're saying, yeah, bro, we're going to have 6 different Avengers teams on there. And I'm over here like, what? So, like, who's on Sam Wilson's Avengers? We have the Thunderbolts, we have the X-Men, we have probably Deadpool's team, and then we're going to have the Fantastic Four. There are so many cooks in the kitchen, nobody knows what we're cooking. And that's what I feel like when we're going into another Marvel movie. And, oh, you know what, we're not even going to get started on that. But we'll get started on the Disney Plus thing, because that's ultimately, if you were to ask me, where do I think Disney went wrong? Where do I think the MCU went wrong? I don't think it's anything with actors. I don't think it's anything with how these movies are being done. All these movies have been formulaic since the start. There were really bad movies inside of the Infinity Saga, but I want you to get, if they all did what their mindset is today back then, this is what would happen. Thor the Dark World would bomb, and they would never do anything with Thor again. Now, if you have a bad movie, your character is literally yeeted into the dumpster. That's effectively how the MCU does it now. Okay? But I don't think bad movies are the issue. No, people can suffer bad movies. I think the problem with the MCU, and why I do believe we went in this quick downward angle, is, brother, most of the MCU are TV shows. That's not a joke. And I'm not even kidding you. I actually took time out of my day, my unemployed day, to make a chart just to illustrate to you how big this issue is. Okay, I think I have screen record on. This is the Endgame saga. The Endgame saga, for you to complete it, okay? Every single movie from The Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 1, all the way up to Avengers Endgame is going to take you about 59 hours, give or take a few. I just did a few estimates. I tried to round up as much as I can because we watched the credits. Let's just keep it real. That's 49 hours. Okay, that's not too bad. That's like one weekend. That's like a weekend. That's a 3-day weekend. Whatever. We can do that. Now, post-Endgame, we have had 14 hours worth of films. 14 hours. Every single movie after Endgame, okay? Yes. No. I'm like thinking about it right now. Yes, that is every single film. Shang-Chi, 2 Spider-Man movies, the Marvels, every single movie post-Endgame. We're looking at around 14 hours. Okay. We total them together. We're looking at 64 hours of film. Okay, we can do that. You can get it. If you had to get a new Marvel fan, it's still possible. It's still plausible. It's big in pop culture. You can sit through 64 hours of films with the boys. That's not too bad. But that's not the complete picture, is it? No. If you want to get into the entirety of the storyline going in to Avengers Doomsday, you also have to watch 70 hours of Disney Plus series. That's insane. And the reason why I do believe that's as crazy as it is I remember when Kevin Feige was originally like co-signing these Disney Plus TV shows, and now he's walking it back saying that he didn't watch all of them and that a lot of it was Disney. No, you co-signed. The reason that we were okay with it is because they used the same argument that they did for Netflix Marvel TV shows, and that is, oh, well, yeah, they're kind of canon, but they don't contribute to any wider storyline. Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness does not make sense if you didn't watch WandaVision. U.S. Agent Walker from the Thunderbolts. No, dude, I remember watching that movie with my mom, and she had absolutely no clue who this character was. Why was he on this team? What was he was? And then that's when it occurred to me. People have no clue who this character is unless they have a Disney Plus subscription, which ruins the storyline and the building of hype for this. From everything, from WandaVision to Ironheart, it is literally 70 hours. Okay? Now, if you were curious to watch actually, I need to illustrate this forward. We're going to go back for a second. 14 hours worth of films post-Endgame. Okay? Everything post-Endgame. WandaVision started post-Endgame. Okay? We got 14 hours of films. We got 70 hours of Disney Plus series. Over 80% of all of the content that you need to know going into Avengers Doomsday as a new Marvel fan, you have to watch 70 hours of that in Disney Plus to understand what's going on. And I know you're going to have to do that. And if you're curious, if you wanted to watch the whole thing, it'll take you 137 hours back to back to back without taking one break in one big supercut. It is roughly 137 to 140 hours. I actually want to end on this point purely because why would you want to get into being a Marvel fan if you literally have to commit 137 hours to understand what the fuck's going on? And understand this, I am a huge Marvel fan. I don't think the DCU is really going... I'll say this right now. The moment Marvel falls off. It is done. I don't think it's going to be able to recapture a lot of its old glory. And the reason that I think they're doing the reboot is because of how much content that there is. Like, to become a new Marvel fan, you have to commit 137 hours to understand everything. If you reboot the entire thing, now the only thing that you have to watch is Avengers Secret Wars, and then we're going to restart the timeline, probably with X-Men, and we're going to recast... Brother, when they were talking about recasting Tony Stark and Captain America, they were talking about, oh yeah, they recast James Bond all the time. I knew they were going to go in this direction, and I remember being called crazy for saying that. Only to be vindicated, that's what they're actually going to do. And understand this. Ultimately, I look at it as, okay, now we actually get an MCU versus a DCU. That's going to be kind of hype. And I'm probably still going to watch these movies from time to time. But the mainline MCU series is done. It's over. Like, no, they are, like, when it gets rebooted. And they don't want to use reboot because this is now going to be the problem moving forward. Why would I be hyped for literally any Marvel movie or Marvel TV show knowing that these characters, if they are not loved by the public, get immediately rebooted? Like, I don't think we get Tom Holland back. This is a prediction I'm throwing out into the future right now. I do believe if they time out the Secret Wars right, they're going to try to make the new Spider-Man Miles Morales, and they're doing that because Sony is going to finish their trilogy at the same time that they're finishing Secret Wars. And I think a lot of that is because Sony is planning on at least loaning Miles Morales because Tom Holland doesn't want to do these movies anymore. He doesn't. I think this might be the last Spider-Man movie that we are getting. And, yeah, this is just me yapping about it. Yeah, I want to have a good little rant about it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, I want to give you guys some more ranty content on, like, Tuesdays. I don't know if it's, like, a moist critical video. I just wanted to rant about the Marvel. I wanted to get this one out of my system without shoehorning it into a tier list and building it around it. Yeah, if you enjoyed this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button to stay notified, and I will see you all in the next video. Adios, guys.